All right, so are you ready to like really dive deep into ASML?
Yeah.
We're talking about the company that's basically the gatekeeper
Mm-hmm.
for all the like mind-blowing tech.
Right.
We can't live without these days. AI, 5G,
Metaverse, all that.
the metaverse, you name it.
Yeah.
They build the machines that make the brains of all that possible.
Yeah.
The most advanced computer chips on the planet.
It's pretty remarkable what they're doing working at the nanometer scale.
Yeah.
To put that in perspective,
Okay.
imagine a single human hair.
Okay.
Now split that hair into 80,000 pieces.
Wow.
That's about the
It's
size
insane.
of the features they're etching onto these chips.
It's like performing surgery on atoms.
Yeah.
But okay,
It's wild.
let's get down to business.
Sure.
You're interested in ASML as an investment, right?
Mm.
Today we're going to analyze whether they're a solid bet for your portfolio.
Okay.
We'll unpack their strengths, weaknesses, and what the future might hold.
So the first thing to understand is that ASML has something pretty rare in the business world.
Okay.
A near monopoly.
A near monopoly.
They're pretty much the only game in town when it comes to this super advanced technology called EUV lithography,
Okay.
which is essential for making these powerful chips.
So if companies like Apple, Google, Samsung
The big names.
want the best chips to power their latest gadgets, they basically have no choice but to go to ASML.
Pretty much.
Wow.
And here's where it gets interesting. Their EUV machines cost a staggering $150 million each.
$150 million.
More than some private jets.
Whoa.
Yeah.
For that kind of money,
Right.
you'd think it would at least make you a decent cup of coffee.
At least a good cup of coffee, right?
So with that kind of pricing power,
Yeah.
ASML must be swimming in profits, right?
They're definitely doing well.
Yeah.
And it's not just because of the high price tag.
Yeah.
Competitors like Canon and Nikon
Yeah.
are years behind in EUV technology.
Oh, wow.
Catching up is a monumental task.
Yeah.
We're talking years of research and billions of dollars in investment.
So ASML is sitting pretty with this huge advantage,
They are.
but they're not just resting on their laurels, are they?
Not at all.
Uh,
They're pouring money back into research and development.
Really?
About 15% of their revenue,
Wow. That's a lot.
which is unheard of in most industries.
That's a bold move, especially for a company already dominating the market.
Yeah. It shows they're committed to staying ahead of the game,
Yeah.
right?
So what are they focusing on?
They're working on the next generation of lithography
Okay.
called high-NA EUV.
High NA EUV.
Think of it like upgrading from a standard definition TV to an 8K ultra-high definition screen.
Oh, wow.
It allows them to create even smaller and more powerful chips,
Okay.
which is crucial as we push the limits of computing power.
So they're constantly pushing the boundaries.
Always innovating.
But it's not just about the tech itself, is it?
Right.
I've heard ASML is pretty savvy when it comes to working with their clients.
They've cultivated really strong relationships
Really?
with the big players in the chip industry.
Okay.
TSMC, Samsung, Intel, you name it.
Yeah.
It's more than just a transactional relationship.
Okay.
They collaborate closely on the development and optimization of the entire chip manufacturing process.
So they're like partners in crime working together to make these technological leaps happen.
Yeah, you could say that.
It sounds like a pretty sweet deal for both sides.
It is.
Yeah.
And these companies are putting their money where their mouth is.
Okay.
They're investing heavily to secure ASML's machines,
Wow.
which shows their confidence in ASML's future and the future of the chip industry as a whole.
It's like a high-stakes poker game.
Kinda.
And these companies are going all in on ASML.
They are betting big.
But in today's world, it's not just about having the best tech
No.
or the biggest clients.
Right.
Global supply chains
Yeah.
can make or break a company.
Absolutely.
How's ASML handling that aspect?
They seem to be navigating the supply chain chaos better than most.
Really?
They've diversified their supplier base,
Okay.
spreading the risk,
Mm-hmm.
and they're proactive about identifying potential bottlenecks
Okay.
and securing critical components.
So they're not putting all their eggs in one basket,
Nope.
which is always a good strategy.
Always a good idea to spread the risk.
But let's be honest, in this day and age,
Yeah.
people are looking beyond just profits.
Right.
They want to invest in companies
Mm.
that are making a positive impact on the world.
Yeah, ESG is a big factor these days.
How does ASML stack up on that front?
They're making a genuine effort when it comes to environmental, social, and governance factors,
Okay, ESG.
which is becoming increasingly important for investors.
Okay.
They're focused on reducing their environmental footprint by lowering energy consumption in both their operations and the machines themselves.
That's great.
They're also working on improving the recyclability of their products.
Okay.
And they have initiatives to promote diversity and inclusion within the company.
So they're checking a lot of boxes. Yeah. Leading technology, strong customer relationships. That's right. Savvy supply chain management, and a commitment to ESG.
It's a good combination.
But can they back all this up with solid financials?
Now, that's the key question, isn't it?
After all, you want to see a return on your investment.
Absolutely.
Right.
And that's where ASML really shines.
No.
They're delivering consistent revenue growth with profit margins consistently above 50%.
Over 50%.
That's a level of profitability
That's insane.
most companies can only dream of.
Yeah.
And they have a solid balance sheet with low debt, which gives them the financial flexibility to invest in future growth.
It sounds like they've cracked the code to business success.
They're definitely a company that knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
And their financial strength is a major draw for investors.
Absolutely.
It allows them to pour resources into research and development,
Right.
which in turn drives further innovation growth.
So they're like a well-oiled machine constantly churning out profits and pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
That's one way to put it.
It seems like they're unstoppable, right?
Yeah.
But every company has its vulnerabilities.
Of course.
What could potentially derail ASML's success story?
Well, even the most dominant companies are not immune to risk.
Right.
One of the biggest concerns for ASML is the geopolitical landscape.
Oh, yeah. Things are a little messy right now,
They are.
especially between China and Taiwan.
That's right. A major player in the semiconductor industry
Yeah.
could create major disruptions.
Right. We've seen how trade wars and export restrictions can impact global businesses.
Absolutely.
And ASML is right in the middle of that potential storm.
Right in the thick of it.
So they're walking a tightrope trying to navigate these sensitive political issues while still fulfilling their business objectives.
It's a delicate balancing act for sure.
But ASML seems to be handling it well so far, right?
They've been quite adept at navigating these complex geopolitical waters. They've emphasized their commitment to complying with all applicable laws and regulations.
Okay.
And they've worked to maintain good relationships with governments around the world.
So it's a delicate balancing act, but they're managing to stay on course.
So far, so good.
But let's shift gears for a moment and talk about something a little less heavy money.
Okay.
ASML's stock price has been on a tear in recent years.
It has been quite a ride.
But some analysts are starting to question
Yeah.
whether that valuation is justified, given the potential risks we've discussed.
Yes, some are wondering if it's getting a little ahead of itself.
So are we looking at a potential bubble here?
It's certainly possible.
Could ASML's stock price come crashing down if investors get spooked
Yeah,
by geopolitical tensions?
that's a risk.
Or a slowdown in the semiconductor market?
That's another risk to consider.
It sounds like a pretty precarious situation.
Investing always carries some level of risk.
But ASML seems to be handling it well so far, right?
They've been quite adept at navigating these complex challenges.
Okay.
They're a well-managed company with a strong track record.
So they're not just sitting back and hoping for the best,
No, they're being proactive and strategic.
which is reassuring for potential investors.
It definitely shows a level of foresight and planning that you want to see in a company you're considering investing in.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
We've talked about ASML's technological dominance, their strong customer relationships,
Yeah.
their savvy supply chain management, their commitment to ESG,
Right.
and the potential risks they face.
We've covered a lot.
It's a lot to digest.
It is.
And as with any investment, there are no guarantees.
That's right.
But ASML's track record, their leadership in a critical industry,
Yeah.
and their proactive approach to challenges make them a very attractive option for investors looking for long-term growth potential.
I think that's a fair assessment.
So if you're betting on the future of technology,
Yeah.
and it seems like a pretty safe bet, ASML is in a prime position to capitalize on that growth.
Yeah.
They're essentially the gatekeepers
Right.
for anyone who wants to create the cutting-edge tech that's shaping our world, from smartphones and data centers to self-driving cars and artificial intelligence.
All the cool stuff.
It's quite remarkable to think that this one company in the Netherlands is playing such a crucial role in the evolution of technology.
It is quite remarkable.
And their influence is only going to grow as demand for advanced chips continues to skyrocket.
It's hard to imagine a future without ASML.
It's mind-boggling when you think about the scale of what they're doing.
Yeah.
These chips are so tiny, yet they're powering some of the most complex and powerful technologies we have.
It's a testament to human ingenuity.
Yeah.
And ASML is right at the forefront of that innovation.
But here's a question that keeps popping into my head.
Okay.
ASML has this incredible power and influence.
They do.
But what does that mean for the future of innovation itself?
That's a great question.
Does their dominance create a bottleneck?
It's a possibility.
Could it stifle competition?
Some people worry about that.
And limit access to this vital technology?
It's something to consider.
That's a fascinating question.
It is.
And it gets to the heart of some of the ethical and economic considerations surrounding ASML's role in the world.
It's a complex issue with no easy answers.
On the one hand, their leadership has driven incredible advancements in technology.
No doubt about it.
Benefiting countless industries and people around the globe.
It's touched all of our lives.
But on the other hand, their near monopoly raises concerns about potential limitations on access.
Right.
And the potential for abuse of their market power.
That's the flip side of the coin.
It's a delicate balance, for sure.
It is.
And it raises the question of whether ASML has a responsibility to ensure that their technology is used ethically and for the benefit of all.
That's a big question.
That's a debate that's gaining momentum.
It is.
Especially as technology becomes increasingly intertwined with every aspect of our lives.
It's only going to become more important.
And it's a conversation we need to be having as we marvel at the latest technological advancements.
Absolutely.
There's a human element to all of this.
There is.
And it's important to consider the societal implications of the technologies that ASML is making possible.
We can't just focus on the shiny new gadgets.
So while ASML has a lot going for it, the technology,
Mm-hmm.
the relationships,
Mm-hmm.
the financials,
Right.
and even their ESG efforts,
That's an impressive package.
there are still some big questions looming on the horizon.
There always are.
Absolutely.
And those questions are going to become even more important as ASML continues to grow and their influence expands.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive into ASML.
We have.
We've explored their strengths, their weaknesses, and the potential challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. We've also touched on some of the broader ethical and societal implications of their dominance in the semiconductor industry.
It's a fascinating story with a lot of layers.
And in the next part of our deep dive, we'll delve even deeper into those questions.
Okay.
We'll explore the potential impact of ASML's dominance on the future of innovation.
Right.
The geopolitical factors that could shape their future, and the ethical considerations surrounding their technology.
Looking forward to it.
We'll also examine whether their current valuation is justified given the potential risks and opportunities they face.
That's a key question for investors.
Stay tuned.
I'll be here. So picking up where we left off, let's look closer at the potential impact of ASML's dominance on the future of innovation.
Okay, so ASML is this powerhouse, the only one with the keys to the most advanced chip-making tech.
Right.
But does that create a bottleneck for the whole industry?
It's a valid concern.
Okay.
Some argue that having a single company control such a critical technology could stifle competition and slow down the pace of innovation.
Right, like if everyone's waiting in line for ASML's machines, does that hold back other companies from trying to develop their own solutions?
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a risk that ASML's dominance could create a sort of technological monoculture.
Okay.
Where everyone is reliant on their specific approach.
That doesn't sound ideal.
It does have some potential drawbacks.
Yeah, but wouldn't other companies jump at the chance to break ASML's monopoly?
Sure.
I mean, we're talking about a multi-billion-dollar industry here.
Oh, they're definitely trying, but catching up to ASML is a massive undertaking.
Yeah.
They've been working on EUV lithography for decades.
Right.
Pouring billions into research and development.
Right.
It's not something you can just throw money at and expect overnight results.
So it's like a technological arms race.
Kinda.
But ASML has a huge head start.
Precisely. And that lead is only widening as they continue to innovate and develop even more advanced technologies.
Okay, so competition might be lagging, but doesn't ASML have a responsibility to ensure that their technology is accessible to everyone?
That's a tough question.
What if some countries or companies are left behind?
That's where things get really tricky. We're talking about a technology with huge geopolitical implications.
Okay.
Governments are increasingly concerned about who controls the production of these advanced chips.
Right.
As they're essential for everything from artificial intelligence and military systems to critical infrastructure and national security.
It's like the new oil.
Yeah.
Whoever controls the chip-making technology holds a lot of power.
That's a good analogy. And ASML is caught in the middle of these geopolitical tensions.
Okay.
They're a Dutch company,
Right.
but they rely on a complex global supply chain.
Right.
And their customers are spread all over the world, including China, which is a major focus of concern for many Western governments.
So they're walking a tightrope trying to navigate these sensitive political issues.
It's a delicate balancing act.
While still fulfilling their business objectives.
Exactly. And those political factors could have a major impact on their future.
How so?
We've already seen governments impose export restrictions on certain technologies.
Oh, right.
And there's always the risk of trade wars or sanctions that could disrupt ASML's operations.
It sounds like a pretty precarious situation.
There are definitely some geopolitical headwinds.
But ASML seems to be handling it well so far, right?
They've been quite adept at navigating these complex geopolitical waters.
Okay.
They've emphasized their commitment to complying with all applicable laws and regulations.
Right.
And they've worked to maintain good relationships with governments around the world.
So it's a delicate balancing act, but they're managing to stay on course.
For now, at least.
But let's shift gears for a moment and talk about something a little less heavy money.
Right.
ASML's stock price has been on a tear in recent years.
It has been a remarkable run.
But some analysts are starting to question whether that valuation is justified, given the potential risks we've discussed.
Yeah, there are some concerns that the stock might be overvalued.
So are we looking at a potential bubble here?
It's certainly a possibility. No investment is without risk.
Right.
And ASML's no exception.
Okay.
Their future success is dependent on a number of factors outside of their control.
Like what?
Including global economic conditions, government policies, and technological advancements.
Right. They might be the best chip-making machine maker in the world.
Yeah.
But they can't control everything.
Exactly. And that's something investors need to keep in mind when evaluating ASML as a potential investment.
Okay, so we've talked about the potential for ASML's dominance to stifle competition.
Right.
The geopolitical risks they face, and the concerns about their valuation.
Those are some of the key factors to consider.
It sounds like there's a lot of uncertainty surrounding their future.
There is, but it's important to remember that uncertainty is inherent in any investment.
Right.
The key is to weigh the potential risks against the potential rewards and make an informed decision based on your own investment goals and risk tolerance.
Right. It's all about assessing the odds and deciding if you're comfortable with the level of risk.
Exactly.
But let's zoom out a bit and look at the bigger picture. What does ASML's story tell us about the future of technology and innovation?
I think it highlights the increasing importance of technological sovereignty.
Okay.
Governments around the world are realizing that control over key technologies like semiconductor manufacturing is essential for economic competitiveness and national security.
So we're likely to see more competition.
Potentially.
And maybe even a bit of technological fragmentation as countries try to become more self-sufficient in chip production.
It's a possibility, and that could create some interesting dynamics in the global tech landscape.
Like what?
We might see more regional innovation hubs emerge.
Okay.
With different countries and companies specializing in different aspects of the semiconductor supply chain.
So instead of having one dominant player like ASML, we might see a more diversified ecosystem with multiple centers of power.
Exactly. And that could actually be a good thing for innovation in the long run.
How so?
More competition can lead to faster progress and a wider range of technological solutions.
It's fascinating to think about how ASML's journey is shaping the future of the entire tech industry. But with all this talk about competition and technological sovereignty, are we heading towards a future where technology becomes a tool of division rather than a force for global collaboration?
That's a critical question.
Yeah.
It's important to remember that technology is a powerful tool that can be used for good or for ill.
Right.
It's up to us collectively to ensure that it's used responsibly and ethically.
So while we're excited about the incredible advancements that ASML is making possible, we also need to be mindful of the potential downsides.
Absolutely.
And work to create a future where technology benefits all of humanity.
I agree, and that requires open dialogue, collaboration, and a shared commitment to using technology to solve our most pressing challenges.
Okay.
And create a more equitable and sustainable future.
It sounds like a tall order.
It is, but I think it's achievable if we work together.
Well, if we can harness the power of technology while also addressing its potential pitfalls, we have the opportunity to create a truly remarkable future.
I agree. And companies like ASML will play a crucial role in shaping that future, whether they realize it or not.
It's a lot of responsibility for one company to bear, but they seem to be aware of the challenges and are taking steps to address them.
They are, and that gives me some hope that we can navigate this complex technological landscape and emerge on the other side with a more just and prosperous world.
That's an inspiring thought, but we've covered a lot of ground in this second part of our deep dive into ASML.
We have.
We've explored the potential impact of their dominance on innovation, the geopolitical risks they face, the ethical considerations surrounding their technology, and the broader implications for the future of the tech industry.
It's a complex and multifaceted story.
And in the final part of our deep dive, we'll shift our focus to you, the listener. We'll discuss what all of this means for you as an investor and what key factors you should consider when evaluating ASML as a potential addition to your portfolio.
That's good.
Don't miss it.
I'll be here.
Okay, so we've explored the ins and outs of ASML, like from their mind-blowing technology and market dominance to the geopolitical tightrope they're walking and the ethical dilemmas they face.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But let's bring it back down to earth. What does all this mean for you as an investor?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've seen that ASML has a lot going for it. A near monopoly on essential technology, a track record of strong financial performance, and a forward-thinking approach to innovation and risk management.
They sound like a dream stock, almost too good to be true.
Well, no investment is perfect.
Right.
But they certainly have a lot of strengths.
But we've also uncovered some potential red flags.
Yeah, there are always risks.
Geopolitical risks, concerns about their valuation, and the possibility of their dominance stifling competition. So how do you weigh all of that and make a smart investment decision?
Well, first and foremost, you need to do your homework.
Okay.
Don't just rely on what you've heard here or read in a headline.
Right.
Dig into their financial statements, research their competitors, and get a solid understanding of the semiconductor industry and the global forces that could impact ASML's future.
So don't just jump on the bandwagon because everyone's talking about ASML.
Right.
Do your due diligence like a good detective.
Exactly. Look beyond the hype and assess whether their current valuation aligns with your expectations for future growth and your tolerance for risk. Remember, past performance is not always indicative of future results.
Right. Those sky-high profit margins might not last forever, especially in a rapidly evolving industry like tech.
That's a good point to keep in mind.
Yeah, and consider your investment time frame.
Okay.
Are you looking for short-term gains, or are you willing to ride out the ups and downs of the market for potential long-term growth?
Yeah, your investment strategy should align with your goals.
So if you're a patient investor with a strong stomach for volatility, ASML might be a good fit.
Potentially.
But if you're looking for quick wins, maybe not so much.
It's all about finding investments that align with your individual goals and risk profile.
Right. And remember, diversification is key.
Absolutely.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket, no matter how promising that basket might seem.
Spread the risk.
Exactly. But let's say you've done your research, you understand the risks, and you're convinced that ASML is a company you want to invest in. What are the key things you should be watching going forward?
Well, keep a close eye on the geopolitical landscape.
Okay.
How are relations between China and Taiwan evolving?
Right.
What new trade policies are being implemented? These factors could have a significant impact on ASML's business.
So it's not just about the tech anymore. It's about understanding the global chessboard.
Right.
And how those moves could affect ASML's position.
Exactly. And watch for any signs of disruption on the horizon.
Okay.
Are any competitors making significant strides in EUV lithography?
Right.
Or developing alternative technologies that could challenge ASML's dominance?
It's like a game of technological leapfrog.
Yeah.
ASML might be ahead now, but someone else could be catching up.
It's always possible. And pay attention to ASML's own innovation pipeline.
Okay.
Are they continuing to invest in research and development? Are they developing new technologies that will push them ahead of the curve?
So are they resting on their laurels, or are they pushing the boundaries even further?
That's what you want to see, continued innovation.
And finally, keep track of their financial performance.
Yeah.
Are they maintaining those impressive profit margins? Are they growing their revenue and market share?
The numbers will tell the story.
The numbers don't lie. If their financials start to slip, it could be a sign of trouble ahead.
It's always good to track the fundamentals.
So investing is a journey, not a destination.
Well said.
It's about staying informed, adapting to changing circumstances, and making decisions that are aligned with your long-term goals. It's like navigating a ship through uncharted waters. You need to constantly adjust your course based on the winds and currents, and you need to be prepared for the unexpected.
That's a great analogy.
And sometimes the most rewarding journeys are the ones that take you off the beaten path and into uncharted territory.
I agree. Sometimes the greatest discoveries are made when you venture outside of your comfort zone.
Well, this deep dive into ASML has certainly taken us on an exciting journey exploring the cutting edge of technology, the complexities of global business, and the ethical dilemmas that come with innovation.
It's been a fascinating exploration.
It's a story that's still unfolding, and it will be fascinating to see how it plays out in the years to come.
Absolutely. There's a lot more to come from ASML.
So as we wrap up this episode, we encourage you to continue exploring, continue questioning, and continue seeking knowledge. The world of technology is constantly evolving, and it's up to each of us to stay informed and engage in thoughtful conversations about its impact on our lives.
I couldn't agree more.
And remember, investing is not just about making money. It's about participating in the future, supporting companies that are shaping the world we want to live in, and contributing to the progress of humanity.
Well said. It's about making a difference.
Wow. Well, on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into ASML. We hope you've enjoyed the journey and learned something new along the way. We'll be back soon with another fascinating topic, so be sure to subscribe and stay tuned until next time. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking those big questions.
See you next time.